I'm Kayla Spelling, Kentucky-born, wild-haired, green-eyed, and endlessly creative. By day, I'm a photographer and a videographer, but by night, a midnight designer, always chasing the next story to tell. As an Aquarian sun and a lifelong creative junkie, my passion for visual storytelling has taken me across industries, working with incredible minds who push the boundaries of art, media, and self-expression. But what drives them? What sparks their journey beyond the 9-to-5 grind? That's what we're here to explore. This season, we're diving even deeper into the creative universe: spirituality, writing, tattooing, culinary arts, travel, music, media, and so much more. Expect surprises, real talk, and inspiration to fuel your own creative path. So, are you ready for another wild ride? Let's do this. Welcome back to the Creative Junk, Creative Junkies. I'm beyond excited to bring you another fascinating episode filled with deep thoughts, energetic work, and a journey into the metaphysical. Today, I'm joined by two incredible guests, Raymond and Stephen from Spirit Mechanix, a powerhouse team dedicated to spiritual healing, energy work, and metaphysical exploration. Spirit Mechanix is all about helping people connect with their higher selves and heal past wounds and tap into the unseen forces that shape our lives. With years of experience in spiritual counseling, Reiki, shamanic healing, and esoteric practices, Spirit Mechanix bring a unique blend of wisdom, science, and mysticism to the table. Whether you're curious about energy healing, want to understand spiritual protection, or you're looking for practical ways to elevate your own consciousness, this episode has something for you. In today's conversation, we'll explore their journey, how Spirit Mechanix was born, their approach to working with energy fields and entities, and the powerful transformation they've witnessed in their clients. We'll also dive into the intersection of ancient wisdom and modern spirituality, discussing how these practices can help you navigate challenges, strengthen your intuition, and find clarity in your own spiritual path. Spirit Mechanix work is a testament to the idea that we are more than just our physical selves. We are energetic beings with limitless power. And so grab your favorite drink, settle in, and get ready for an enlightening discussion with the minds behind Spirit Mechanix. Well, guys, I'm so excited to be here and finally talking to you guys after a long time of back and forth. But, I was talking to Raymond about this, how I also last year lost a lot of people in my family. So I also went through and still am, going through a grieving period. So I also had to set my podcast aside for a little bit, just to go through my own healing, of course. But for me, healing is creativity, which is why I'm hopping back into this. That's how I create for the universe is, creative art and stuff like that. So I just wanted to say thank you guys for making time to be here on the Creative Junk podcast and to chat with me, because I have been looking over your guys' website and stuff, not just today, but of course, when I was first looking you guys up, and my friend Brian had mentioned that he had met one of you guys at one of your events and was just incredibly inspired by you guys. So I'm just excited to get to know you guys. So I'm going to stop talking, and I'd love for you guys to just first off, start off by introducing yourself and what you do.
My name is Raymond Newsom. I'm one of the newer mechanics. I help out with like networking, so sitting at the podcast and just getting everything set up for social media, so the flyers, helping out get classes set up. I also help out with the paranormal team, so investigating and everything that entails, like packing a ton of equipment around them, going, "Hey, you need some help?" "No, I got this." "Oh, my back hurts." "Well, you didn't ask for help." So, and then of course, I'm one of the readers as well.
Okay.
So, Mr. Steve.
Yes, my name is Steve. Obviously, yeah, I'm the token blind guy of the group, um, but I'm the head of Spirit Mechanix. I'm one of the founding members, and primarily what it is that I do is I do things like this. So I tell people what it is that we do. And I'm also the one that's responsible for setting up teams for house cleansings, different kinds of attachment removals, and pretty much making sure that everybody is at least attempting to attempt. So uh, it's an adventure.
So why don't you guys tell me, and maybe we'll start with you, Stephen, about creating Spirit Mechanix, and maybe even going a little bit more into your background, how that kind of put you on this path to then begin creating this community, this shop, this place where people can really learn and grow, whether it's in their own personal spiritual faith and journey, or just learning about how the world works or other worlds work. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. And there's a lot of stuff out there. And that's what makes this just an amazing community, the team itself. So it literally started, it was a dream that I had when I was younger. It basically, long story short, you grow up and you're told things aren't real, or they're not fitting into societal norms, different things like that. And you're told to put it on the back burner, if not completely forget about it. And I didn't have the ability to do that. So I wound up going to a spiritual leader that I had at the time. I was still in the church, and started explaining the things that I had going on, and they couldn't give me any answers. They, only the apostles could do those things, or, you should probably pray about it. But that was basically all I got.
Mm-hmm.
And uh, wound up sitting down after I was asked in a Sunday school why it is that people my age uh, weren't coming to church. At the time, I was in my early 20s. And I blew up the Sunday school room by telling them exactly why. And I felt a hand on my shoulder during the sermon and heard, go and show that I exist through action, not through words. Cool, let's get it. And I haven't been back, at least as far as attending. But in the process of doing that, I met my now wife, Tiffany, and another founding member, Brian Gibson. And we had all had a similar experience. And it just kind of came as this kind of discussion evolved. It came as kind of an epiphany. Why don't we do that for other people? Right about that time, we had been frequenting a local metaphysical market, and the people that we were kind of hovering around, just to put it nicely, we were just kind of in the way. They said you should get your own booth. Get your own booth. That way you can teach, you can talk, you can do what it is you do, and you're not in our space in a loving way. But that was kind of the gist. And we all agreed to take the risk, and here we are after that. We wanted to be able to provide a space where people can learn safely. Mm-hmm. We also wanted to provide a community where people could go, where they weren't going to be judged for what it is they believe and what it is that they practice. And everybody just kind of connected like a family, and it's grown into what it is at this point. Because the big thing with Spirit Mechanix is each one of us has a different background as far as the spiritual base, and we all have a different understanding of how things work, so we all have a different practice. So if one of us doesn't know, somebody else is going to know on the team. And if one of us can't provide what it is someone needs, we know exactly who to go to. So it just worked out that we wound up being a big, goofy family. We are the island of misfit toys. And,
I love it.
Yeah. So it wound up pretty awesome.
No, that's great. So I was reading, and you in your bio, you mentioned that you're I believe, an energy alchemist. So could you explain that a little bit more, and then some of your other gifts that you have and how you use that in terms of working with other people?
So energy alchemy is the process of taking what is there and returning it or converting it into natural flow. So things, just for an example, things like an attachment. Someone has a severe emotional attachment, a trauma that they're essentially feeding. most of the time without their knowing.
Mm-hmm.
The process starts with intuitive counsel, so being able to find that root cause and help them talk their way through it, so that the attachment can break loose. At that point, what an alchemist can do is take a hold of the energy that has been fed into that attachment and either break that attachment down or pull that attachment out. The reason why an alchemist is able to do those things is they're righting the imbalance in that person. So you would go to a Reiki practitioner to have everything smooth and an equilibrium found. You would go to someone who adjusts chakras through crystal healing or sound, to get everything in alignment. And alchemist balances things out by taking away what isn't needed.
Okay.
Or by providing what is.
No, that's actually a really great way of explaining that, because I'm Reiki certified as well. And so hearing the different aspects and like how you're breaking that down, that like clicked in my brain when I heard that. So that was cool. Thank you for that.
You're very welcome.
So Raymond, how about you? Tell me about your background and how you found yourself at Spirit Mechanix.
They fed me and couldn't get rid of me afterward. No.
Well, yeah, that happens.
He's our mighty mutt.
Mighty Mutt. Steve and I had similar situations going on when we were younger. Obviously there were differences, but there was a lot of seeing and experiencing things that no one else was seeing or experiencing around us.
Mm-hmm.
And growing up in the Bible Belt, it's not something you discuss.
No, right? Yeah.
Because it's either you need an exorcism because you had the devil in you, the devil's chasing you, and you need to pray about it, or you're not going to church enough. So, that's typically the answers that you get. I even had a Sunday school teacher tell me when I was younger that meditation was letting the devil into your soul. I was like,
Wow. Okay.
okay, okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I stopped going. Um, but, it was they're just going by a certain belief that was carried throughout the church that's not their fault. That's just how they were taught to believe and how they believed. And so I couldn't really hold it against them. Wonderful people, they really were. But it drew so many questions that at that point I couldn't get answers to.
Mm-hmm.
As you get older and start to want to take and learn more things, I read every book coming going. Still didn't really have any answers to the paranormal stuff, but I understood metaphysical stuff to at least understand how to use it to an extent. I had open heart surgery, and there were people walking around my house in broad daylight that were not there. So I started trying to collect evidence,
Mm-hmm.
like you do, and that led me to the first team that I got to know and got to work with for a couple of cases, and then life happened and I had to move on past that. Circle back around 2021, I went on family vacation and saw something in a picture I could not explain. So I started looking again. I met a gentleman at Bobby Mackey's who led me to Steve and them. Our wonderful buddy Jeff Matt. Um, and it's funny because he kept telling me, you had to meet these guys, you had to meet these guys, you had to meet these guys. Well, they were opening up their first shop in Lexington, and they were like, hey, we're going to have a meet and greet. Cool, I'll be there. And I roll up, and it's Steve, another member, Dustin, and myself, and we're the only three there, like the entire day, basically. And our conversation about, you know, experiences with metaphysical as well as paranormal eventually turned into, hey, what do you think of this band? And we just started talking music. And at one point, Steve and I stepped outside and he said, would you like to become a trainee? Yeah. Without hesitation. Yeah. I've, I found where I'm supposed to be. Yeah. I'm here. Let's go. And then we had Friendsgiving not long after that, and they fed me, and they've been stuck since. Um,
Now, you mentioned that you were a reader. So does that mean like you're a tarot oracle reader?
Oracle reader, and there's a couple of fun energetic readings that Steve's taught me how to do since.
Oh, okay.
Um, One's kind of like a Facebook quiz that we do at events. It's called a Soul DNA, and it's literally that we will work through the different layers of your aura, and depending on what answers you give us, we compare it to a mythological creature, and then afterward we break it down why that mythological creature works for you. So
That's cool.
we have fun with it, don't we, Steve?
I mean, it's a vibe. It's a way to read without being really intrusive. And a lot of times people go to events and things, and it's their first reading. They don't know
Yeah.
what to expect or anything like that. This is kind of a fun spin that's really just dipping the toe. It's like, all right, let's have some fun. It shouldn't be way out in outer space, and it shouldn't be starched color and everything serious. Let's have a little bit of fun. Trick or
Yeah, I definitely can contest to that. I would say I had more of my spiritual awakening in like 2019. I've always been a sensitive individual, and same when I was young, had experiences. I had one that was so traumatic for me because I didn't know how to handle it. So I completely shut myself down because I didn't want to experience that again. I was so scared. So when I was older, I, kind of got to that point where I'm like, you know what, I'm wanting to be vulnerable again and open that part of myself up now that I can understand things a bit better and I have more control over that. But so going to events and stuff, especially my first time, I was so scared because especially growing up in the Bible Belt, right? That's already heavy on you. You're like, oh, I shouldn't be here almost, even though it's just a weird thing that like you grew up with, right? That just sits in the back there. So it's like, I'm nervous even being here and talking to these readers and stuff. And, spirituality is so personal, and it's not like I'm expecting anyone to say like, you are Satan or something like that, or a demon or whatever, but there's just this fear that you carry with you. So I love that idea of it's like breaking that ice. It's like, look, we're just here to hang out, like let's talk music, or like whatever, like let's do a quiz and let's talk about what freaking mythical animal you are. Like,
yeah.
Let's have fun with it. So that's great. Guess what? It's that time. Time to hit pause and catch a special message from one of our awesome sponsors. Step into a world of magic and rejuvenation with Wicked Obscura, a women-owned apothecary and candle shop based in Covington, Kentucky. As one of the proud owners, I can tell you, we pour our hearts into everything we create, blending nature's power with spiritual wellness in every handcrafted product. Our candles, made from a coconut soy blend and infused with herbs and crystals, offer more than just an unforgettable scent. They bring peace, magic, and good vibes into any space. With crackling wood wicks and safe ingredients, each candle fills your home with a touch of light and enchantment. Are you ready to experience the true essence of Wicked Obscura? Use code CreativelyWicked for 15% off your next purchase. Shop at wickedobscura.com and let the magic begin.
Yeah, I mean, the whole idea is it, and as you've noticed, the way that we look, we're not prim, we're not proper, we're not trimmed, we're we're kept, but that's about it. Uh, because we want you to feel as though you're coming to hang out with friends. It's not a, well, we're going to these people because they look mystical. No, you should always go to a metaphysician because you vibe with them.
Yeah.
And we want it to feel like family. We want it to feel like home. You're safe with us. You can talk with us. You can get work done. We're going to explain it to you the whole time. And, we're going to giggle. We're going to laugh. We're going to tell dirty jokes and cuss. Let's have fun. It shouldn't be serious all the time.
I mean, I think especially when it comes to spirituality or paths like this, normally what I ask a lot of people is because with this podcast, it's about expression, right? And it's like, what is it that fuels your inner fire? Because to me, when you feed into that, you're living your soul's purpose. What makes you come alive? You know what I mean? And whether that is art, what painting, drawing, playing pickleball, or whatever it is, like there's got to be something out there that
sarcasm.
yeah, I mean, there's got to be something that just really ignites you. You know what I mean? And so for you guys, would you say that's what this is? And that's, kind of what has led you in this direction with this path and creating this community for people?
It's, I can't speak for Ray. With me, it's a way for me to be of service. You know, uh, I wasn't charged or given specific things or had to give specific things when I learned and when, I was in the middle of trying to get things figured out. And I love to teach. So being in those moments where someone has that aha epiphany of, I've been doing this, or, I have a word to go with what it is that I do, or here's people that actually understand. I can talk to them. They're not going to look at me sideways when I tell them that I see a purple leprechaun in the corner. It's that kind of thing that really motivates me. Watching people grow is an amazing thing, and them having that safe space to do it is the reason why Spirit Mechanix is the way that it is.
Mm-hmm. One question I do have for you guys, I notice I manage like social media and stuff as like I'm a freelancer, so I do marketing and stuff like that. And definitely, well, I would definitely say since probably 2020, there has been this big awakening, and I feel like we've gone through multiple phases of this. But I really feel like there was a huge kickoff there because everybody just had to shut down, which I think was a really interesting thing to experience as a collective. But what I've really seen too in social media and stuff is all of these people coming forward. And the thing that I get frustrated with is a lot of people doing the whole we're going to do a weekend workshop and it's going to be $5,000, but it's totally cool. Like you're going to get all of the healing and the retreats and da 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 and like love and light and like all of this. And I kind of wanted your guys' thoughts on that, especially because you're going to these events, and you're probably talking with a lot of people that are, in my opinion, getting mixed messages from social media from a lot of these people, right? So I really am kind of curious about your thoughts on that.
I mean, first of all, we're not going to charge you that much for something like that.
But there
I
are
mean,
some that are that or more. You know what I mean? Like I've seen it. It's crazy.
100%. And yeah, there are a lot of mixed messages. There are a lot of your so-called starter witches that pop up on TikTok and this and that. And then there's the Love and Light group. And I'm just going to call them that. If you're a light worker, that's wonderful and stuff. We don't consider ourselves light workers. We are gray workers. So we work both in the light and in the shadow.
Hmm.
And it makes it easier to understand both while you're in that sort of state. Because if you know how to handle the shadow, you know how to handle the light. If you know how to handle the
Absolutely.
light, you can handle the shadow.
Yeah.
And it has to have that balance to be able to take and provide what we do most effectively. But yeah, we're not going to charge you something like that for something like that. No, 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 no. Anyway, Steve.
Yeah, it's like I was mentioning earlier. Most of us, especially the two quote unquote senior metaphysicians in the group, myself and Mr. Chris Davis, we've been doing what we do for 30 years, and we weren't charged to learn, so we don't take the money. Um, Literally everything that we run off of is donations and what's given to us at events or the classes that are paid for, and it's literally to keep the lights on and to make sure that we can be places where people can't afford to give us gas money.
Yeah.
So, a lot of our house calls, we do charge expenses, but that's it. We're not going to charge somebody three, four, five, $8,000. There's a joke in there. $8,000 to come into a house cleansing when they need someone to come and help them.
Yeah.
And same thing with these courses that we give. We're paying for the materials and the electric bill at the shop. It goes back into the team. Most of us have 9 to 5s in some way. I'm the only one that can dedicate 100% of time to Spirit Mechanix because of visual impairment. I don't have a 9 to 5. This is my 9 to 5. So uh, everybody can usually take care of themselves. When they can't, we throw some gas money or whatever. But it's not about us monopolizing on someone who needs a leg up or needs, a certain item or whatever. It's about us providing those things when people are in need of them.
Yeah.
So could we? Probably so. We could probably charge a lot of money and probably get a little bit more notoriety because we're charging money. But it's not about the money. It's not about the clout. It's about everybody else.
No, that's great. So you guys have a physical shop. Could you tell me about that and where that is located for listeners who are listening on the podcast?
Oh, sure. So it is still budding, right? We're still trying to figure out exactly what goes where and, what we're going to sell on the shelves and everything else. But we're trying to make it work. Currently, we are at 1018 East New Circle Road in Lexington,
Okay.
Suite 114 and 112. And that's where we provide classes in person. It's also where we do energy work in person if you need to be in a little bit more of a private atmosphere. Um, we give private readings there. We're super grouped with Mr. Stephen Tyree. He's also a mechanic, but he's got his own gig. Stephen's Healing Vibrations. He's a sound healer, uses tuning forks and singing bowls and gives sessions. So we pretty much just kind of show up for who needs to get something done and provide it. But we try to sell a little bit of everything: candles, altar supplies, smudges, obviously tarot and oracle decks, different books. It's a small little deal, but we have a little bit that we can offer.
No, that's great. I love to hear it that you guys are growing in your own way and yet you're still making opportunities for people who, really need your services. And um, Raymond and I were talking earlier, so he was mentioning that you guys are going to be doing more online classes. So I'd love to hear that because I know I live in Belgium. I don't
Oh,
know if you
what?
guys know that. Yeah, I live in Belgium. So for someone like me, who may want to tune in and stuff, online classes are just so fantastic and great opportunities for that. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah. Um, so we try our best to provide because we've connected with people literally all over the world, and yourself included now. Um, but we wanted to provide a way for everybody to be able to learn if they wanted. And being in person exclusive just wasn't going to be a thing, especially in, the new quote unquote digital age, cough, cough. I'm dating myself. But it's a lot more fun when you can hybridize those things. So you have people that are there in person, and then we usually do our classes over Discord. Reason why is it's free for us and it's free for you.
Mm-hmm.
And we can have up to 100 people on a screen for free. But we simulcast. So we have everything that's going on in the room live for everybody else. So you're lived in and can take it over Discord. What's really neat is that we try to make it approachable and we try to make it practical. So a lot of our classes are workshops. They're not just lectures. So you learn how to do the stuff that we're telling you about. Um, so that's providing materials. So we'll give you PDFs, different things like that. Uh, if you're interested in doing some heavier things, like making talismans or different things like that, we'll actually send you the materials.
Oh,
It's
that's great.
right. It's all included in what you give us as far as a quote unquote enrollment fee. And then you have a specific instructor. So if it's like the 100s, you're learning the very basic stuff, how to read auras, understand your own aura, how to connect properly to other people and other entities safely. Then your 200s, that's your intermediate stuff. So going into energetic color theory, how to produce energies, how to manipulate energies, uh, different things like that. And then what's coming up March 1st is this year's first 300 level. And the 300 level classes are taught by a single mechanic and are their specific specialty.
Cool.
So you're able to learn from someone who's been doing what they do for years and learn specific things. The one that's coming up on March 1st is sigil, seals, and wards and how they work. So being able to create them, break them down, how they function, and you'll be learning all that stuff in the middle of class. So yeah, we try our best. Some classes we can't do online stuff for just because it needs to be more hands-on,
Yeah.
but those are few and far between because there's no such thing as distance when it comes to energy work. And if you can feel it 3 feet from somebody, you can feel it 3,000 miles away.
Can you guys tell me, you have touched on it periodically through this episode, but just some of the services that you guys offer? I know that when we were talking before, there was a mention of, well, and even like reading through your website, there was this notion of investigation. So it was like, and not just saying like paranormal investigation, but there was like a process of kind of investigating before it's like you just like dive right in and like go somewhere. So I'd love to kind of know more about that process.
As far as the investigation process, I'll let Ray go through that. He's in the paranormal team, uh, so that's his bag. But as far as the things that we typically offer, it's everything from physical healings like Reiki or physical alchemy. We offer things such as, chakra working, so alignments, clearings, uh, chakra transplants, different things like that, flow work within the body, so working with meridians. Um, we also do energetic readings, so reading auras from a distance. We have medical intuitives that can at least help with understanding a situation that you may have going on. Hey, you might want to go get this checked, kind of things. We do the stereotypical tarot and oracle stuff. What I specifically do, and a couple others like Raymond, we do attachment removals as well. This can be set up at the shop, in your home if you would prefer that. That would have to be discussed, but and then we can do it over video as well for a lot of that.
Depending on where we're investigating requires a different setup. So knowing where we're going to first usually typically helps, at least as far as how the house is and this and that. If it's going to be a smaller residential setting, or if it's like a big, pay to play kind of deal, dictates how much equipment I roll with me. Steve has seen me roll in with a couple small bags or like three gigantic duffel bags just jammed packed full of stuff. And yeah, I love it. I have way too much equipment. I really do. Just kidding. I want more. Um, for us, especially what we do and what we've been trying to collect, a lot of it is audio and visual. Because if we're asking a question and we can catch that answer directly to it, then we know for a fact well, we have a very strong possible idea that we are talking to something intelligent.
Yeah.
We can get a direct response, then, we have somebody there hanging out with us, and it's not just us seeing or even hearing it in our heads. It's something tangible that somebody can go back and listen to and say, yeah, there's that voice there. Same thing with the video. We've been doing a show called Bridging the Gap. And the whole idea behind it is being able to take and show our methods during investigations. So you'll see us do everything from pouring a shot of liquor for a spirit that asked for one to dancing on a stage, including the chicken dance.
Quack, 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 quack.
Quack, 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 quack. There's a story behind that. We did an event called Global Ghost Hunt, and one of our members asked if they wanted them to dance. They said yes, so they started doing the chicken dance instead of, a chicken says cluck. They were saying quack, quack, quack.
That's my fault.
That's so funny.
Derailed thought process right in the middle of it.
Sure did, but it was hilarious. And so, thousands of people got to see this moment. Them going quack, quack, quack. And it's been a joke ever since. So there are different clips and stuff throughout other episodes coming up where that chicken dance happens again.
Going into the other side, because we do investigations, both residential, like Raymond was saying, both residential and the bigger deals. But we also do the paranormal consultation for homes.
Mm-hmm.
So for house cleansings and things like that, the way that it works is we will actually gather environmentals, psychological background, physiological background, so chronic illnesses, different things like that, sleep patterns. So we look at the mundane first. Is it actually a paranormal situation? And depending on what's going on, we talk to people all over the country. If they're close enough, or if we can get to them, we'll send Ray and a couple other people out. Let's see what's going on. Let's see if we can catch something. Or if they have evidence of their own, we'll have Ray and the team, Ray and Dustin and a couple others, go over the evidence that they send. Is it legitimate? Is it something that they're matrixing? So pareidolia. Is it something that they're saying is there, but no one else can see? If we see that there's actually some form of paranormal activity, or the symptoms match for it, what happens is I step in at that point, and we start to look at it as an actual house cleansing, or an attachment removal, or a land cleansing. And we go by symptom at that point. We do a preliminary call where certain questions are asked. We have our own. And based off the symptoms, I put a team together. Okay, guys, here's what we got. Here's what we're working with. This is what Ray and Dustin found. This is what they debunked. So we've got a little bit of evidence to support these things. What do we think this entity is or wants? And we'll get a game plan together, talk with the client, and set a date to go out and help.
Hey there. I know this conversation is super intriguing, but let's hit pause just for a sec. Here's a quick message from one of our awesome sponsors. Some places are divinely chosen to hold secrets that cannot be explained. Hauntings, spectral entities, and mysterious energies lurking in the most unexpected corners of the world. At Mysterious Adventures Tours, we uncover these hidden wonders with mystical, curated travel experiences guided by passionate experts who are just as captivated by the unknown as you are. And here is a twist. I myself am a tour director for this amazing company, so you might just find yourself exploring these incredible mysteries with me by your side. Ready to create unforgettable memories on an adventure like no other? Satisfy your wanderlust and learn more about our future tours at mysteriousadventurestours.com. It's time to step into the unknown and embark on a journey that will leave you spellbound. Now, do you guys find, I'm assuming it's just dependent on the situation. Of course, every case is different, but are you going like multiple times? Are you going for just like one session? How does that work for you guys?
So usually, especially with a lot of the cases that happen out of state, we do something that everybody honestly should be doing, but we have found quite often that a lot of paranormal teams do not, and that is aftercare, what we refer to as aftercare, which is checking in at least once a week for about a month. What's going on? Are you okay? Have the symptoms eased? Is there anything new? If there is, we get a game plan together, check to see what's there, help out if we can help out. If the person was in need of psychiatric help, that's something else that we're pretty much known for, is being able to tell the difference between paranormal and psychological.
Mm,
If the person needed that, we keep up with them on whether or not they have actually been going to therapy. We're using the honor system. Of course, we can't call their therapist
sure.
and be, if they've been here. But you can also tell a very strong difference in the person when they actually start clicking with the therapy that they need. Certain things like thought forms and stuff like that, you have to go and see a psych doc, because those things stem from repressed traumas. The other thing that goes along with this is understanding that a house cleansing, a blessing, and an exorcism are treatments. They are not a magic bullet. Assuming that any exorcist or worker can come in and do it all in one fell swoop is kind of out there. Even the best of the best will tell you that you have to put your own work in along with the person that's coming out to help. Otherwise, you're just going to call it back and you're going to wind up with the same situation that you currently do. You have to do your own homework, which we usually give as well. Do this smudging, keep up with this, you know, here's some, life coaching deals, some habits need to shift, or, let's talk about a mindset shift. Let's get you into therapy or get you back into an art or hobby. It's a lot of reworking the lifestyle that needs to happen after you have this kind of thing. The other thing is like I said, it's treatment based. You can go in and trigger warning for those who are currently going through this or recently have. But it's a lot like going through cancer. You can go and have the tumor removed, but it doesn't mean that the cancer cells are gone. You have to have the chemo and radiation to go along with it to make sure that you have the best chance of removing the disease. This is no different. You can go in, have the entity removed, have the curse removed, the hex removed, whatever. You can go in and have that removed, but it doesn't mean that everything is polished clean. It means that the main issue has been taken care of. So, yeah, we keep up with our clients for actually years afterward, as far as checking in. It's like, all right, what do you need? What do you got? And half of them have been, family ever since, sending us Christmas cards or, you know,
Aw.
happy birthdays, different things like that. So it's all about what people need and what they're capable of committing to. You can't, and the reason why I keep cycling back to this is everybody has this idea because of movies and television that an exorcist can come in and fix all your fucking problems. Excuse my
Yeah.
language. That's not the case. There's something that brought that entity to you in the first place that
Hmm.
you're responsible for. So it's something to keep in mind. But yeah, a lot of times what we do is treatment based. We'll go in, do the big deal, and then the rest of it, we can use other methods from a distance if we need to, or if the client would like us back, we can come back. Okay, we'll check it out. We also, before we leave, especially if they're not local, if they're out of state, before we leave or before we go to bed, if they're putting us up, if we don't have a hotel, we'll wait for specific words to be said. So those words are releases. Okay, we know that we were effective. We did our job. And before we actually head out of the area the next morning, we check in and wait to see if we hear those words again.
Mm-hmm.
If we do, cool. All right, we know for a fact that we were effective. We were able to do what we set out to do, what the person or family needed. We can leave. And then the rest of it is literally the aftercare and the self maintenance that they need to do. If not, we go back before we leave the area. People are asking us for help. We're going to help.
Yeah. No, that's great. I just have to say with you guys, like it really is, I know it sounds corny, but it is heartwarming to hear that there is a community that you guys have created to where you are living that path of service and really genuinely wanting to help people and help heal them. Because, as I was saying before, I feel like the whole healer spirituality realm has just gotten very overly saturated, and people are really missing the whole point of what being a healer here is. It's literally to help people and get them on their path, whatever that may be for them. And of course, we accumulate things every day, just doing everyday things and stresses and stuff like that. So there are others with gifts that are, can help you work through that and stuff. And so, I just want to say thank you to you guys for creating such a beautiful community and a safe one too, because I think that's also something that's very hard as well that I've had experience with where I, was, trying to find a community of my own on a spiritual path, trying to figure things out. And I felt judged for things that I was feeling or intuitively that I was getting, sounding like, I was crazy or, I didn't feel safe. And so, to know that there is a place for people like you guys that they can go and just freely express themselves. And it's like, hey, you think you're a vampire? Okay, like I believe you. Like, let's talk about it. Let's have a discussion about this. Like, how did you get on that path? Like, what is that for you? That's just really, really awesome to me.
Thank you very much for that. It's what it should be. We're all in this together, and
Yeah.
all we've got is the best we can give. So we're going to give people our best, and we're going to do it until people are tired of us or we're tired of doing it. So
Well, and so people can find you online. I'll definitely make sure in the podcast description notes, make sure to add your guys' links to social media and also your website so people can engage in some online classes with you guys, which is really great. They can also shop online with you guys, or if they're in the Northern Kentucky area or even like around Lexington, maybe set up a time to where they can meet with one of you guys. Do you guys have any events that are coming up that you want to mention?
We actually have two bigger events coming up next month for March. I don't know when this will be viewed. So
Mhm.
in March, we have the 15th and 16th. We will be in Elizabethtown, Kentucky for the Light Up Fest, which is a Mama Ruby's event. And 2 weeks later, 29th and 30th, we will be in Cincinnati for Sacred Journey Market, which is off Eastgate Road. So that's that. Both events are going to be a lot of fun.
No, that's great. And before we hop off here, is there, there are people part of our collective, right, that are going to be listening to this episode. So is there anything that's weighing on your guys' intuitions or your hearts that you just want to leave them before we hop off here?
Just be kind to yourself, be kind to each other. There's a lot of people that's going through a lot of shit right now. So just take that time to be kind to yourself and be kind to each other.
always remember, regardless of what it is that you're going through, effort is always rewarded. And even if it's a baby step forward, it's still forward momentum. Life is legitimately about living it. There is no major secret, there's no hidden goal. The goal is to just live. So allow yourself to do that. Be your own person, keep your integrity, be humble, be the person that you wish other people were.
I love that, you guys. Thank you again so much for being part of this episode. And I really hope that you guys have a very fruitful year, full of just love and exchanging energy with people, positive energy, and that your shop really grows. And however that may be, whether it's just, more people that attend your classes, or, you guys get more funding from people supporting you to make your shop even more, so that way you can reach more and more people. Whatever that may be for you guys, or whatever you guys are personally working on this year, I just really hope that it's very successful for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
This podcast is brought to you by Mind Junk Creative, a creative agency that brings your wildest ideas to life. They dig through your mind junk to uncover those throwaway thoughts and turn them into bold, unforgettable brand stories. Ready to discover your story? Head over to mindjunkcreative.com and give them a follow on Instagram for all the creative goodness. A huge thank you to Raymond and Stephen from Spirit Mechanix for sharing their knowledge, experiences, and deep insights into energy work, spiritual healing, and the medical physical world. I don't know about you, but I'm definitely feeling inspired to explore my own energetic practices after this chat. Before you go, don't forget to check out all the links in the episode description and the show notes on our website at creativejunkpodcast.com. There you'll find ways to connect with Raymond and Stephen, explore the powerful work that they do along their team with Spirit Mechanix, and learn more about their services, workshops, and upcoming events. So if today's conversation resonated with you, trust me, you will want to dive even deeper into what they have to offer. And here's a little bonus. Spirit Mechanix is always expanding their knowledge and offerings, so be sure to follow them on social media to stay in the loop about their latest insights, energy tools, and upcoming events. Until next time, my creative junkies, keep creating, keep exploring, and keep following your passions, because the world needs your magic. If you haven't subscribed yet, well, what are you waiting for? You can find me on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And hey, please drop a review and share this episode with your friends. I would be forever grateful. Got thoughts on today's episode or some must-hear stories? You can hit me up at hello@creativejunkpodcast.com. Love this episode? Let's keep the creative vibes flowing on Instagram and Facebook. We'll dish about the latest interviews, swap wild ideas, and catch up on all the creative madness. Plus, head over to creativejunkpodcast.com for show notes and all the juicy resources your creative soul craves. Thanks for hanging out with me, and hey, let's keep the creative party going. Thank you for listening.